Narratives shape our world today by providing readers with new ideas that widen their perspectives. They help answer questions about the psychology of humans and therefore can create change in the world. The concept that human nature should be interpreted pessimistically is prevalent in both The Prince, a political treatise by Niccolo Machiavelli, and the performed poem Progress by Kate Tempest. These texts are told by narrators who have rather pessimistic views on life and especially of people, who are conceived in both texts as egocentric. Machiavelli wrote The Prince to gain favour with Lorenzo de' Medici and aimed to reignite knowledge of ancient military leaders and why they were successful by teaching the reader about the fickle nature of humans. Similarly, Tempest vocalizes that the nature of humans has experienced inadequate progress over time, that humans are self-absorbed and are not maximizing their potential. Machiavelli's dark view on human nature was discordant with the rest of society during the Renaissance period. He was one of the first commentators to remove the virtuous perspective from his writing and commend pragmatist instead of moralistic viewpoints, and therein lies his reputation for encouraging the unethical behaviours of a leader. Tempest was a realist born in southeast London in 1985 who described herself as an evangelical empathy priest, implying that she is trying to create change. During her childhood in Greater London, riots were frequent, including the race riots in Brixton. This early conflict helped her see that people were cynical and stimulated her pessimistic style of writing. She said during an interview, "We are in the middle of a barbarous time, and greed is the root of it." Machiavelli believed that having a cynical outlook on humanity was necessary in order to move forward with governance and sustaining power. In fact, Machiavelli's writing was fueled by cynicism. He believed that people were self-interested, unreliable, manipulative, and greedy, stating that a man will sooner forget the death of his father than the loss of his inheritance. Rather than restricting thought and action, Machiavelli's pessimistic perspective on people revealed new possibilities for political conduct and opened up new paths of judgment and decision-making. Machiavelli believed that leaders must be willing to disregard their morals in order to gain and maintain control of a state. Furthermore, he believed that it is better to be feared than loved. Because of people's fickle nature, using fear to gain and preserve power was the best option, as dread of punishment never failed, and was a driving force that kept society upright. This proposition was supported in the lines that expressed, "They are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, covetous. When it approaches, they turn against you." Machiavelli uses allusions to past successful leaders such as Cesare Borgia, who is a brutal pragmatist, to strengthen his claims about the value of having pessimism on human nature. These historical references act as evidence to further convince the reader that practicality must be prioritized over principles. Kate Tempest was a poet and word performer who in the poem Progress offers a rehearsal for life. Similar to Machiavelli, but in a more contemporary setting, Tempest points out the bleakness of the world and the fickle nature of humans. Tempest recognizes that religion is just humanity's way of making sense of the world, stories meant to help us understand our role on Earth. However, humans have become so dominated by religion. Right is right, wrong is wrong, this was this, that was that. Tempest uses religion as an example of how human nature has not progressed over time. Although religion has been around for centuries, people have remained selfish and egocentric. Tempest's writing was told through a Machiavellian pessimistic standpoint. She believed that the world had a predetermined nature, arising from religion and society's expectations. He gave individuals little chance to unlock their potential, proving in the line, "Your hand in the mold and told fit into this, and maybe one day you could really be big." Because of this lack of freedom, there was a drastic disunion between people who mainly acted out of self-interest. As a result, humans had little to no ideological progression over time. Humans glorify technological progress to ignore a lack of progression in morality. She proves this claim by bringing up social issues that are still extremely prevalent today in the statements, "We used to burn women who had epileptic fits. Now, we'll put them on the screen if they've got nice tits, but they'll be torn apart if they let themselves slip." Throughout the poem, Tempest uses repetition of the word now to contrast today with the past, further highlighting how little progress humanity has made in nature. This repetition creates a juxtaposition between the past and the present, alluding that very minimal change has been made, which makes the reader reconsider their thoughts on social issues. The standpoint that human nature must be looked at with pessimism prevail in both texts The Prince and Progress. I chose these texts because they made me reconsider my assumptions about the world and made me realize that people are fickle and unreliable. By exploring the ideas of fear over love and the predetermined essence of the world, these narratives help readers become aware of the true nature of humans and therefore encourage change.